Today's intermediate Pilates class is going to focus on the inner thighs. Let's get going on our backs. Finding a nice neutral pelvis, so a tension-free position. Taking a moment to just feel the spine and the pelvis resting into the mat. We're going to start with a nice double knee drop here. So just starting to warm up those inner thighs, allowing for the inner thigh to stretch as you open the legs, and then drawing those inner thighs down toward the pubic bone, feeling that engagement as you exhale. So we're going to inhale as we open, and as we exhale, sliding the inner thighs in toward the pubic bone, that pelvic floor gently drawing in and up. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. We're going to do two more. Just take the time to connect in with your body. One more time here, gently drawing in and exhaling. We're going to move into a single leg version of this now. So as my leg closest to the camera begins to open, I have to engage that opposite inner thigh to keep my supporting leg stable, and then coming back up. Let's do the other side, allowing for the inner thigh to open, and exhale. Inner thigh open, and exhale. One more time. As my leg opens, I want to engage my opposite oblique, keep my hip and my rib down, and come back in. We're going to start to build on this now. So allowing my one leg to fall open to the side, pausing here, finding the energy in the inner thigh. I'm going to add load by extending the leg out from the knee, pulling the leg back in towards center and lowering the leg down. Other side, allowing for the inner thigh to stretch and open. Then finding the support for that inner thigh as I add load, extending from the knee. Pull that inner thigh in towards center, bend the knee, and come down. Let's do it again. Open. Exhale, extend. Keep that opposite hip and rib connected to the floor. Bring the leg in, lower it down. Other side, open. And out. Pull it into center and down. One more time, open. And extend. Pull it into center and down. Last one here, and open and extend. Pull it into center and down. Now both legs. We allow both legs to open. Take a breath in. On the exhale, find that pelvic floor support. Extend both legs out. Pull both legs in. Bend the legs, deepen those abdominals. The legs have to come down. A lot more load is being played with now. As I open the legs and I need to extend them, I'm going to pull my knees a little bit in toward my chest, letting the thigh bone sink into that hip joint just a little bit more deeply. Exhale, pulling those legs together. Bend the legs. Exhale, deepen the abdominals. Use some glute support to bring my legs back down. Let's do it again. Opening the legs out, breath in. Exhale, bring those thigh bones in toward the chest. Open those legs up nice and wide. Let's bring the legs together. Inhale as you bend. Exhale. Deepen those abdominals. Find those glutes. We want to avoid popping into the back on this. One last time. Open. Drag those thigh bones in toward the chest. Open those legs wide. Pull those legs together. Bend. And lower. Deepen, deepen, deepen those abdominals. And down. We're going into some hip lifts here, but I'm changing the position of my feet. So my feet are heels together, toes apart in a little V. Energy in the inner thighs. I'm going to fire up through my glutes, picking my pelvis up toward the ceiling, deepening those abs, reaching out through the knees. Then hinging at the hips and coming all the way back down. Let's do it again. Exhale up. And down. And again. And down. Let's do two more here. down. One more time. Holding it up at the top. I'm going to draw those knees together now, squeezing those inner thighs towards each other, and then letting them come apart. So glutes are very active here. Core is very active here. I want to actively press down into my heels, deepening those abdominals, drawing those inner thighs together, and then opening the legs up. Let's do this for 3. Feeling a lot of glute, hamstring, hopefully those inner thighs as well. 2. You can always place your hands underneath your bum if you need a little bit of extra support. We're going to hold that there. Now pulse just a little bit more deeply, a little bit more deeply. Let's do this for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Slowly hinge at the hip. Abdominals are active. Find that hip hinge. Widen the bum. Coming all the way down. Turning the legs into parallel. We're going to go back up into a hip lift. So finding that core engagement, find those glutes. We're pressing up into one big long piece. I'm going to anchor into the glute closest to the camera, bringing my other leg up through tabletop and to extension. Lowering that leg down so it's in line with my knee. Open the leg to the side, pull it back in. Open the leg to the side, pull it back in. 2 more. 1 more. Bring that leg up, bend, lower it down. Find the glute on the supporting leg. Bring the other leg through tabletop to extension. Lower it down. Take a moment. Make sure both hips are square. Open the leg and close. Lots of inner thigh on the supporting leg. Actively working here. Last one. Bring that leg up. Bend. Lower it down. Hinge the hip. And come all the way down. Extend those legs nice and long. My leg closest to the camera is going to come up to the ceiling. Take a breath in. Exhale. Here we go. We're going to go into little circles here. So crossing my midline, then opening the leg out to the side. Crossing the midline and opening the leg to the side. I'm staying as relatively quiet through my pelvis as possible, so I'm not rocking and rolling. 2 more. 1 more. And then reversing the direction of that. And so there's lots of inner thigh happening on my supporting leg to control, especially as I go out to the outside of that circle, finding that inner thigh so my leg doesn't just drop into nothing. 1 more time here. Let's bring that leg back up. Control, exhale, deepen the abdominals, being careful not to overarch in that low back. Let's do the other side. Take a breath in. Exhale. Take a moment to feel the leg in that hip joint. Cross the midline. Find a little bit of glute at the bottom of that circle, opening up through that inner thigh and back. And again, down. And again. Nice little circles here. 1 more time in this direction. And then reversing that. Finding the inner thigh, finding that control through the oblique, through the pelvis. And you really do want to think of your thigh bone like a soup spoon and your hip joint like the bowl. So you're just stirring the soup in the bowl. Last one. And then come to center. Controlling. Woo, already starting to shake a little bit. And down. All right, let's turn on to our bellies. And we're going to go into a little bit of extension work here. Resting the hands and the head on the mat. Let's start by just taking a nice breath in. And exhaling out. Pulling those abdominals in and away from the floor. Let's do that again. And exhale out. From here, let's take a breath in. Let's fire up that left glute, and we're going to lift the leg up and down. Let's switch it with the other side. Breath in. Exhale, firing up the other side. Lift and down. And exhale, alternating sides here. One side and then the other. Let's do one more time. And then both legs are going to lift. Now, when you lift both legs, if you feel like you're not equally weighted between your hip bones and your pubic bone, let's lift the legs. Take a moment to feel that. You may need to put a cloth, a rolled up cloth under the hip bones. Come down. Or deepen the abdominals and let that tailbone tip a little bit toward the floor, which is going to press the pubic bone slightly more into the mat. And that might help equalize your pressure there. So there's a couple of options if you don't feel like you're equally weighted between the hip bones and the pubic bone. Let's lift the legs and down. Exhale and down. Exhale and down. One more time, we're going to come up and we're going to stay. Hold that there. Flex the feet. The legs are slightly turned out. We're going to open the legs to the ends of the mat, either sides of the mat, and then pull those inner thighs together. Open and exhale. Open and exhale. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Two more. One. We're going to point the feet and beat the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause, flex the feet. Beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause, point the feet and beat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull the abs in 9 and 10 and flex. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Point, pause. Lower the legs. Breath in. Exhale, lift. Open into a big wide V. And then we're going to crisscross the legs here. So one leg is going to come over top of the other and then open. Then switch over top of the other and open. Switch and switch and switch and switch. For 4, pull those abs in. 3. Woo, feeling those glutes. One more time. Open the legs, pull the back to center, lower the legs down. Bring the hands by your side. Pull the abdominals in. Let's actually open the legs just a little bit wider than hip distance and turn them out. Make sure there's energy running through the glutes here, as well as pulling the abdominals in. We're going to lengthen out through the top of the head, slide those shoulder blades together, and come into a little bit of a higher swan than we normally do, and then melt ourselves back down. Let's do that again. Reaching out through the top of the head, shoulder blades gently gliding together, lengthening out, lengthening out, lengthening out, coming into a nice lift toward that pubic bone, and down. I want you to be careful not to sink into that mid-back. So continue to get that sense of length as you come up. Keep reaching out through the top of your head and down. One more time here, lengthening, opening up through the front of the chest. Pull those abdominals in. Let's come just a little bit down, not all the way, just resting that bottom rib. Reaching the right arm out and bring it back in. Reach the left arm out and in. And the right arm, and the left arm. Let's just go a little lower down, but we're still lengthened even though we've lowered slightly. We're going to reach both arms out now and pull them in. Both arms reach, pull those abs in and in. And out. And in. 2. In. 1. Hold out there, flutter kick or flutter arm. Flutter arm, flutter arm, flutter arm. For 4. 3, 2, 1. Pull everything in, lower it down, push yourself to child's pose, and allow for those glutes to stretch themselves out. Breathing through it. Then rolling yourself up through the spine, stacking yourself nice and tall. All right, we're gonna come onto our side now. So onto the elbow for support. The top leg is going to come behind the knee of the bottom leg. Flexing that bottom foot. I'm gonna bring my arm up. We're gonna lift the leg, touch the leg toward the foot, and then down. Up and down. Up and down. Exhale and exhale. For 4 and 3. Find that inner thigh as we lift that leg. Last one. We're going to keep the leg hovering, point the foot, circles here, 1. And to lift a little higher at the top of that circle, feel that little bit of extra work. 2 and 1, reversing that. Push the floor away, don't sink into that shoulder. Whoo, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the leg hovering. Now, I'm gonna actively press into my back foot and my forearm to lift my hip off the ground and then tap it back down. Lift and down. Lots of inner thigh on my supporting leg happening here to help with that lift. Let's do this for 4. Woo, a little bit of balance challenge. And 2 and 1. Coming down. Let's lie ourselves all the way down. And continue with some leg work here. So the legs are coming out directly from the hip joint. The tummy is nice and supported. We're gonna lift and lower both legs together. Again, still working that inner thigh on the bottom leg. Let's do this for 4 and 3, 2, pelvis is nice and quiet, 1, holding that scissor. One leg comes forward, one leg goes back, and we switch. Hovering that bottom leg over the mat. And scissor, and scissor, 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 3, 2, 1. Come back to center, hold, squeeze those legs together. Bend the knees in towards the chest, my legs are still hovering. Squeeze and let them go nice and long. Bend the knees in towards the chest, and out. And 3, 4, 5, last one here, 6, pause, just lower the legs down. Bottom leg gets a break, top leg gets some work. We're gonna lift that leg up, extend it out, and I'm gonna tap my foot down and up. Tap my foot down and up. 3, 4, 5, 6, staying nice and active at my hip hinge here. Last one, hold that up there, circles 1, feeling the outside of the leg 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last one here for 8. We're gonna reverse the direction of that one. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lift that leg, 7 and 8. Pause, bend, control as you come down. Push yourself up, and let's go to the other side. So coming onto the forearm, that top leg is now going to come behind the knee and sort of the lower part of the thigh bone, actively pushing the floor away. Flex the foot, hand up. Let's lift it 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Pause, point the foot, circle it, 8, 7, 6, 5. Feel that work a little bit higher at the top of the circle. 2 and 1, reversing. So think more of like an oval shape. Woo. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's the fun part. Actively press into the forearm and the foot. Lift and down. Lift and down. Exhale. Exhale. For 4 and 3. I have to really squeeze my bum on that supporting leg. One more time here. And down. Lie yourself all the way down. Hips are square. Pull those abs in. Lift and down. Lift and down. So thinking of one long leg, think of reaching out through the legs as you lift. So you're not trying to just go up from nothing, but instead take that length into your lift. Length. 2 more. We're gonna hold that there. One foot comes forward, one goes back, and we scissor and scissor. And you can challenge your obliques by taking that top arm away. Finding control in the balance. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Both legs come together. I am gonna bring my hand down for this, bending my knees in toward my chest and reaching them out for 6. Bend, and 5. Keep those inner thighs really nice and active. 4. Squeeze those legs together for 3. And 2. 1. Let's bring the legs in, pause, lower down. Lift that top leg, extend it out, lower and lift for 8. And 7. Let's try to keep the hips square. I need to work on that too. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 8 circles. 1, 2. Breathing through it nice and easily for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then we reverse that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bend the leg with control. Lower, back, down. All right, let's come back onto our backs. We are not done yet with our inner thigh work, but we're gonna add some ab curls into it. So taking a breath in. On the exhale, let's bring the legs to tabletop. Hands behind the head. As I curl up, I'm gonna open my legs about a couple of inches. Hold the legs where they are, but lower the head and shoulders. Curl up and open an inch more. Keep the legs where they are. Lower the head and shoulders. Exhale, curl up, open just a little bit more. And this time when you lower the head and shoulders, we close the legs with it. So we curl up and open the legs a little bit and keep the legs where they are. We come down. Curl up, open a little bit more, and then come back down. Curl up, open all the way. Close the legs as you bring the head back down. Let's do it again. Curl up and open. Keep those inner thighs active. Curl up and open just a little bit more. Curl up and open one more time. Close those legs. One more set like this. Curl up, open. Curl up, open. Curl up, open. Close the legs as you lower the upper body. Let's extend the legs up to the ceiling and do the exact same thing. Curl up, open those legs just a little bit. Keep them open. Curl up, open them just a little bit more. Keep them open. Curl up, open them just a little bit more. Now close as you slowly lower the upper body. And again, curl up, open. Curl up, open. Last one here, curl up, open. Close those legs. 2 more sets. Curl and open just a little bit. Try not to let those legs start to wander. Curl and open. Curl and open. Close. Inner thighs, inner thighs, inner thighs. Woo, shakety shake one last time. Curl and open. And again. Last one here. Close. Oh my goodness. Bend those legs. Lower them down with control. Whew. Almost done. Let's come onto our hands and knees. All right. Find a nice neutral spine where you're going to bring the leg closest to the camera up into a donkey kick position here. I'm going to bring my knee down toward my opposite knee and lift it back up in center with my hip joint. Do that again. And up. And down. And up. 2 more. Feeling a little bit of outside of the glute and inner thigh working here. Hold that. We're going to do a little leg wag. So now I'm going to open my knee a little bit more toward the camera and then just past my midline. Toward the camera and just past my midline. 3, 4. Working from my hip joint, not my knee. So that way I'm really getting the side of the glute and the inner thigh to work. 1 more time here. Back to center and down. Let's do the other side. Coming right up. We're going to cross the knees to touch, then open back to center. So there's a lot of inner thigh happening on my supporting leg so that I'm not sinking into my pelvis or letting my hip sink to the side. I really want my pelvis to be centered over top of that thigh bone. We've got 2 left here. 1. Here's my little wag. I'm going to open out just a little bit and then back towards my midline. Out and in. Out and in. 4, 3. Trying to work just from that thigh bone. 1. And then come back down. We're going to do a long leg version of this now. So I'm extending my leg up and then reaching it out. I'm going to cross to touch the outside opposite corner of the mat, lift back to center. Crossing and then back to center. And just to make this more fun, on the last 4, let's extend the opposite arm out, working just a little bit harder through those abdominals. And 2, and 1. Hold that up here. Now we're going to go into that little wagging flag, but let's open the opposite arm the opposite direction and then pull everything in towards center. Open the arm and the leg and out. How are you doing? It's a little bit of a balance challenge. 2 more. 1 more. And in. Other side. Coming up into that donkey kick, extend the leg out long, making sure that I'm nice and supported through my whole supporting leg, not sinking into my hip. Tap that opposite side of the mat and lift that leg back up. 2 and 1. Extend that opposite arm out. Cross the midline and lift. Cross the midline and lift. 2, 1. Now the arm and the leg are going to open together and pull towards center. Open together, pull towards center. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bring it all in, push yourself back, and enjoy a nice stretch. Bring your hands by your side, slowly roll yourself up through the spine. Now that was a lot of inner thigh work. So we're just going to come into a bit of a deeper squat position. So I really want to focus on allowing my pelvic floor to stretch here, because we were doing a lot of pelvic floor engagement as those inner thighs were contracting to come in on a lot of those exercises. It may not have felt that way, but there is a deep connection, a fascial connection between inner thighs to pelvic floor. So pelvic floor was being worked there. I just want to take a moment to stretch those inner thighs and allow the pelvic floor to open. It's important to allow those muscles to release just as much as it is to learn to engage. So let's breathe and focus on our inhale here. Pelvic floor stretching on the inhale, a little bit of activation on the exhale, but really focusing on that inhale. One more time. And then we're going to send one leg out, going for a nice little bit of a stretch here. So you never want to force the stretch. You want to just allow it to happen. So again, just breathing through it, allowing for the tissue to slowly open. We're not forcing ourselves into positions that don't feel good. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can absolutely sit down on your bum and just send one leg out to the side. So doing what feels best for your body. And then we'll bring that leg in and we'll go to the other side. So you're either sitting on your bum or you're in that more crouched position. Sometimes this level of deep knee flexion doesn't feel great, so do what feels best for you right now. Breathing through it. And then coming onto your bum. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed today's inner thigh workout. Maybe you're feeling a little shake through those inner thighs. It is always an absolute pleasure to work out with you, and thank you so much for welcoming me into your home. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye.